When Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks joined the band Fleetwood Mac, they'd already been romantically involved for many years. The two decided to call their romantic relationship off during the recording of their second album with the band, though they were determined not to let their breakup affect their music. Both members pushed aside their feelings and remained with the band until recently, when Lindsey claimed Stevie gave the rest of the band an ultimatum to have him kicked out. After all these years, it seems like neither Lindsey nor Stevie has gotten closure in the wake of their breakup. Join Facts First as we cover how Lindsey Buckingham just revealed sad details about his time dating Stevie Nicks. Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks may be best known as members of the classic rock band Fleetwood Mac, but neither was a founding member. The group had been around for many years before the two high school sweethearts joined. Lindsey and Stevie met for the first time when the latter found the former singing California Dreamin' at a high school party and decided to join in. 2 years later, Lindsey asked Stevie if she wanted to join his rock band, which was at the time called Fritz. Fritz didn't last very long, but Lindsey and Stevie's relationship persevered. The two continued making music together and became a couple. They struggled for a while to find success in the music industry on their own, with Stevie supporting the two via a waitressing job while Lindsey recorded music at home. When Stevie was done with work, she'd come home and record vocals with Lindsey until the morning. Lindsey and Stevie signed with a label and released the album Buckingham Nicks, which proved a commercial flop. Following its release, the artists were dropped from the label and found themselves questioning their future. Around the same time, guitarist Mick Fleetwood was looking for a new guitarist for his rock band Fleetwood Mac. The group's previous guitarist, Bob Welch, had quit. Little did Mick know he was about to get not only a new guitarist, but a new singer who would take the band to new heights. Not many people had heard the album Buckingham Nicks, but Mick Fleetwood had. He was impressed by Buckingham's musical abilities on the album and offered him the gig of performing with Fleetwood Mac. Lindsey agreed on the condition that Stevie could join as well. With the addition of Lindsey and Stevie, the most iconic lineup of Fleetwood Mac was formed. The band had been through several iterations already, and none of them had proved successful. Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks officially joined Fleetwood Mac on New Year's Eve of 1974. In the following few years, the band released its two most successful albums, the self-titled Fleetwood Mac and follow-up album Rumors. While Fleetwood Mac wasn't the band's first album, it might as well have been in the eyes of the public. Off the success of singles like Say You Love Me and Landslide, the album was a massive success. Both songs featured prominent vocal performances from Stevie Nicks, who proved to be the breakout star. Lindsey and Stevie's relationship lasted throughout the recording and release of the self-titled Fleetwood Mac, before eventually falling apart during the recording of Rumors. The album featured breakup songs that they had written about each other, including Dreams from Stevie and Go Your Own Way from Lindsey. Though the two had never been married, they claimed it felt like a divorce. Still, they made a pact that they would not let their breakup affect the success of the band. Both of them had worked incredibly hard to get where they were. According to Lindsey, it was Stevie who made the decision to end the relationship, but there seems to be a lot of doubt about what exactly caused it to sour. The two continued working professionally together for over 4 decades before something recently caused Stevie to say she couldn't do it anymore. Facing either the loss of star vocalist Stevie Nicks or the loss of lead guitarist Lindsey Buckingham, the rest of the band made the decision to fire the latter. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. And stick around to hear more about Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks bottled up their emotions after their breakup to prevent their successful band from falling apart. While this proved beneficial for the band's future success, it also made it difficult for both musicians over the years. Both have claimed they were never able to truly get closure after their breakup, despite the fact they worked together for several decades afterwards. They kept things professional and didn't allow things to be personal. But all this seemed to change in 2018. Stevie suddenly decided she could no longer be around Lindsey, even though the two had amicably navigated their post-breakup careers together for over 4 decades. Stevie claimed that what sparked the incident was Lindsey scoffing at something she said during a speech. For his part, Lindsey claimed he had no idea what she was talking about and has since decided the singer likely made up the story to form a coup against him. But it remains unclear why Stevie would decide to form a coup against her former lover after the two had managed to coexist peacefully for so many years. Stevie has remained adamant that she didn't give the other members of Fleetwood Mac an ultimatum, but it seems clear she left them little decision. The singer made it clear she was no longer willing to work with Lindsey, and that pretty much insinuated the ultimatum to her bandmates. Mick Fleetwood was reportedly incredibly saddened after making the decision to let go of his longtime friend to appease Stevie. But the numbers spoke for themselves. Fleetwood Mac without Lindsey Buckingham was an easier sell than Fleetwood Mac without Stevie Nicks. A year after being kicked out of Fleetwood Mac, Lindsey had to undergo a triple bypass surgery after suffering a massive heart attack. When he was in recovery, Stevie Nicks sent him a letter expressing her warm regards, and the two have apparently had sporadic contact since. Still, Stevie hasn't let up on her stance that she isn't willing to perform with her former bandmate of several decades. Stevie claims she broke the relationship off because the two joining the band had ruined their romantic chemistry. She remains saddened that she'd lost her former lover and best friend to their band. She's expressed she believes she and Lindsey would have gotten married eventually if they hadn't joined Fleetwood Mac together, and would have gone on to have kids. According to Stevie, her parents always loved Lindsey and were saddened to see him go. In the year 2000, Lindsey Buckingham married a woman named Kristen Messner. Together they have 3 kids. The couple took a break from their relationship around the time of the COVID pandemic, though it appears they're still married. Lindsey learned he had been fired from Fleetwood Mac after getting a phone call from his manager. Lindsey didn't take his firing lying down. The band went on tour after letting the guitarist go, and he subsequently sued his fellow bandmates for $12 million. That was the sum Lindsey determined he would have made if he'd been allowed to go on tour with the group. Despite Lindsey suing his former bandmates, it still appears as if Mick Fleetwood is open to the idea of continuing to perform with his old friend in some capacity. It remains uncertain what the future holds for Fleetwood Mac, and if we'll ever see the most iconic lineup of the group perform together again. If neither Lindsey nor Stevie ever got closure after their tumultuous breakup, maybe it's time they did so now, and perhaps we can see them back together on stage soon. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think Stevie Nicks should allow her bandmates to let Lindsey Buckingham back into Fleetwood Mac? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.